G'day legends, I hope you're all fantastic. We've got the Boss Katana Artist Mark II on the bench today. The Katana series really doesn't need an introduction at this stage. They are probably some of the most popular guitar amplifiers made of all time, and they really sit in that lovely nexus between affordability, ease of use, functionality, and most importantly, really solid tones. The Artist Mark II adds a few features that I think kind of give it the edge, maybe if you're more of an intermediate to pro player, that make it a lot more usable in a recording or a live context. The core tones are exactly the same as the rest of the Katana series. If you haven't checked out my Katana Mark II video, I kind of go through all of those things in depth. But what I want to do is start off on the brown mode here and show you the first of four features that I really like here. It is the contour control on here. This is something that the standard Katana series doesn't have. Basically, you've got it off 1, 2, or 3 setting on there. And this to me can just kind of take a pretty good tone and really elevate it to something a little bit more special. Let's just have a listen to what each one of those functions does. So position 2 on that contour control is probably my favorite. On the brown mode, it kind of takes it from, I guess, your old school 80s pushed Marshall and kind of prods it a little bit more to that kind of modern Marshall thing, a little bit more like a Bogner or a Friedman. I really like that. I'm going to leave it on mode 2, probably for the rest of the video. The second function, which I think is very cool and makes this really flexible if you're going from, say, a live context to a direct recording context, is the addition of the global EQ on here. And what you can do is, using the Boss editing app, get into the app and pretty much set up your own custom global EQ curves in there. For example, if you wanted one that just shaved off, say, 80 hertz and 10K on there so that you can have a kind of sweeter DI tone, you can do that. You can set it as a graphic EQ or a parametric EQ and really sculpt your tones in there. What I'm going to do is just go through the 3 presets on here. They're more or less the factory presets that I just kind of tweaked for my liking on here. So you've got your contour control over here, and up here you've got a little global EQ button that you can press. I do think of this as a global control. I wouldn't really change it in the middle of a gig, but if I was going, say, from doing a gig where I'm playing through a live cabinet and there's no miking or anything like that from the PA, it's a really small space, or maybe a rehearsal, I might leave it off. If I was going to, say, a DI recording context, I would use one of the other settings in here. So just kind of think of it like that, as this is the final polish on your tone. Again, it's independent of the contour control. number 3, the line out settings have been expanded with proper speaker impulse responses. You can change the mic type and distance in here, in addition to the pre-existing recording or live settings. So if you come up to the system settings in the editor, you can choose between record, live, or blend, just like on the standard Katana, or you can set up 2 custom settings here. So this first one that I've been using for the whole video, by the way, is a dynamic 57, 4 centimeters from the mic and 5 centimeters from the mic center. There's a little switch on the back of the Katana Artist that lets you set this. So once you've programmed it, you have access to it on hardware, which I think is very, very important. The other one I've set up as a Ribbon 121. Let's just very quickly hear the difference between, say, the standard recording mode and then what I've been using. For dirty sounds, I really like the dynamic mics, either the 57 or the 421, but for that clean sounds, the 121 is really, really awesome. I'll let you hear the difference between the 57 and the 121. Finally, probably my favorite feature on here, the solo function lets you place the solo boost either pre-gain or post-gain, so you can have more saturation or more volume, and it comes with a dedicated solo delay. I love this so much. If I was going to design a solo boost on an amplifier, this is exactly what I would do, because I always use delay on my solos. So you can set the overall level here, either engage it with a little button on the front panel or kick it in with the Boss GAFC controller. I got the controller at my feet. So I'll give you an example. This is set up for a volume boost, so it's set after the preamp, but there's also like a 400 millisecond delay on there. Check it out. Not only can you set a basic delay, you can actually change the filter type on there. You can set up a parametric EQ on there as well. I actually had that set up so it was giving me like a 2 dB boost at around 2K. It's perfect if you want to punch through the mix. That is such a killer feature, and basically I think every amplifier like this should have a function like that. Now, all of these features build on what I really like about the Katana, which is the fact that it's really easy to use, it's lightweight, affordable, and it sounds really, really good. And just being able to kind of cycle through all your presets once you've set it up from the front panel is gloriously straightforward. Even though it looks like an amp, it's really an entire rig in a box. And the fact that you've got stuff like a power amp in so that you could use this with your, say, main modeler, like a Fractal or a Helix or a Boss GT, and have a built-in backup option is something that I know a lot of people are already using. The expanded stuff like the contour control and the excellent solo boost function or the line out options on here really just push it into even better value for money for me. So I'd love to hear from you. Are the features on this enough for you to want to upgrade from your existing Katana? Or if you've been on the fence about getting a Katana, is it enough for you to go, that's it, I need to grab one of these because it does everything I need to do? I think if you're getting into the Katana game and you can afford one of these, you can just stretch that little bit extra. I think it will hold you in really, really good stead, because they're kind of pro level options that I kind of consider standard on what I would consider pro level gear, if that makes sense. Anyway, I have talked long enough for today. I'll leave you with a little jam where I'm going to start out on the lead channel, just kind of tweak things as I go. If you like what I'm doing here on my channel, you can support it in a variety of ways. Just check the links in the video description. Big thank you to Ed and the team at Boss Australia for loaning me this particular amp. I'm not getting paid to do this video, but I obviously got early access to it to make this particular video. So massive thank you to everybody there at Boss Australia. Bunch of legends. You're a bunch of legends. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.